Lethal Company V60 is finally here, and if you saw my previous video, talk about perfect timing, right? This update was released early July 17th along with this tweet by Z. I'd gone to bed not too long before this came out. Hurt my soul, not gonna lie. There is a shopping list of things that were added and removed from the game, and spoiler right now, liquidation was not part of this update, so rip all my fellow bozos out there who got our hopes up. That's besides the point, however. Z put a lot of work into this update, and there's a lot to unpack here. So in this video, we're going to talk about every new patch and change in Lethal Company V60. I'm going to leave a link to the patch notes down in the description, so if you want to follow along, you can, but let's start with everything that was removed from the game. There were 3 things removed from the game, those being the Goopy Goblin, the Bog Crawler, and the Kidnapper Fox. I actually had no idea what those other 2 things were, but the Kidnapper Fox kind of surprised me, but it makes sense. There were a ton of complaints about the Kidnapper Fox, specifically because of how buggy it was. It kind of reminds me of what happened with the Clay Surgeon when it first came out. Personally, I don't think it really needed to be removed from the game. I'd never really ran into it much as it was, so I guess it doesn't really matter, but I would like to see it come back in future updates as soon as it gets some changes and fixes. Next, we have some changes to the entrances on Dine. The placement of the entrance itself doesn't seem to be any different, but the route you take to get there definitely is. Instead of taking that long and wide path we were before, you'll be taken through these narrow cliffside passages where you will have to find a hole along the side of the fence, and then you'll be able to get to the bunker. When I went through this the first time, the entrance was flooded, which I thought was weird because there were no weather effects on that moon when we landed. I also couldn't find the emergency exit because I kept getting murked by forest giants, but I'm assuming the path to that is different as well. This was a small change, but I think it made a big difference in helping Dine feel a little bit more immersive, especially in combination with one of the other changes made in this update, which we'll talk about later in the video. Next up, we've got some changes to the Coilhead. Change is definitely not the right word to use, as in actuality, this thing got nerfed entirely. First, the Coilhead would now only chase you for a certain distance before it stops to recharge for about 20 seconds. They also can lose sight of you if you get really far away, so cutting corners is definitely going to be your best friend against this thing. Lastly, Coilheads can't jump as easily if they're spotted while they're jumping. I didn't get a chance to test out what exactly this meant, but I assume that if you catch it mid-jump, it will fall down more immediately. Not sure if that came out the right way, but you get the gist. Before we get into the big parts of this update, let's talk about these smaller changes real quick. First off, the Flowerman and Spore Lizard got some optimization specifically for lag spikes that were happening in bigger maps. They reduced the number of weather present on different moons at once. Wooden mansion doors have been given a unique sound effect, which actually does sound pretty nice. Check it out. Solid changes, but let's get into the juiciest parts of this update now. The first big thing, and arguably the best part of this update, is a new interior. This was something the game definitely needed, and Zeke absolutely delivered with this one. The new interior is the mine shaft, and when I first heard about it, I'm not gonna lie, I was not very impressed. Mainly because this is exactly what Content Warning did with its May update, but the way Lethal Company executes it, it's a lot different. Content Warning does a great job of blending the mine and cave sections together, making it feel like you're in the same place no matter where you are in the map. Lethal Company, however, separates these by hiding the caves behind doors indicated by blue lights or through pools of water dotted throughout the mine. So it's possible Zeke drew inspiration from Content Warning, but regardless, this is the best interior by far in my opinion, and I really might think this mine shaft is better than Content Warnings. Lastly, we can always expect a new monster in these updates, and Zeke did not disappoint with this one. As always, I'm going to show you a clip of the new monster here in the next 5 seconds, so if you don't want to be spoiled— oh, Grizzly.
You okay, Grizzly? You okay, little buddy? Hey, Grizzly.
If you don't want to be spoiled, go ahead and skip ahead to the next chapter. Otherwise, I give you the Man-Eater.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Oh, he's stuck, dude. He's stuck. Get out of there.
Oh, shit. That was a baby crying.
Oh.
Dangerous.
Oh. God damn it. Oh, fuck. Go.
Now's our chance.
I don't like this thing. I don't like it at all. This enemy lives in the cave sections of the new interior, and be careful if you see one. Hanging around it for too long will cause it to grow at least 5 times its size and will start aggro roaming around the map, literally man-eating everything it sees. You will know when it's time to get out of there because it'll start crying, giving you only a few seconds before it starts going crazy. It's almost as if it's literally calling for its mommy. Overall, I'd say this is a really cool enemy with a really awesome interior. Finally, Zeke did leave a small piece of insight into his plans for future updates, saying, "In the next update, I'd like to make store-bought items easier and more efficient to bring with you, even while carrying scrap. I also want to add more furniture that you can buy for the ship. For now, enjoy and get to work." I would say this is one of the best updates we've gotten for Lethal Company in a while. I think the fact that things were not only added but removed from the game as well, on top of the nerfs that we saw with the Coilhead, just go to show that Zeke is still actively working towards making his game a better experience for players, and this makes me really excited to see what he brings to the game in future updates. But what about you? Have you played Lethal Company V60 yet? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, but otherwise, thank you guys very much for watching. Y'all take care of yourselves, you be easy, stay positive, and of course, I will catch you guys on the flip.